Welcome back. Our trio partner, Rudy Koski, is on vacation, so joining us is Mark Jones from Rice University. Greg, you'll get the first stab at this, I should say. It's an uphill battle for Colin Allred trying to win a statewide seat. Can he win the Democratic nomination for Senate outright?
Good question. Given the Democratic shift in the Lone Star State, a moderate, charismatic Latino would give Allred all he can handle and then some. Whether that is San Antonio State Senator Roland Gutierrez or one of the Castro brothers or even a female candidate from the left wing of the party, Allred will likely have his hands full just getting to a one-on-one battle with Ted Cruz, and in a race where the greenback will not be a holdback for the incumbent. An expensive primary fight could leave the last Democrat standing semi-broke and battered going into the fall.
Mark, Greg mentioned money. Allred is known in North Texas. He's in his third term, but Texas is a huge state, requires a lot of money. How can Allred get that name recognition as far as El Paso, South Texas, and those areas?
Well, that takes two things. One, traveling the state nonstop, which is difficult to do when you're a sitting member of Congress like Congressman Allred. Ted Cruz, back when he didn't have a day job, could do that when he was competing against David Dewhurst and raise his name recognition. Allred's going to have more difficulty. The other way to do it is raising lots of money. But that's also going to be a challenge for Allred because national Democrats have a bare majority in the U.S. Senate, and the 8 most vulnerable seats, or the most competitive seats, are all Democratic-held seats in places like Pennsylvania, Ohio, Nevada, and Montana, West Virginia. So Democrats are first and foremost going to put their money there, and effectively it's a lot easier to campaign in smaller states there, and your money goes a lot further, say in Arizona, Nevada, Montana, West Virginia, Ohio, and Michigan, all for about the same price it would cost to run a statewide campaign here in Texas.
Greg, are we making too big of a deal when it comes to name recognition? Is name recognition not really the issue in this case?
Yeah, I think it really is. Say what you want about Beto, but everyone in this state knew who he was and pretty much what he was about because he was an energetic, dogged, ultra marathoner on the campaign trail who smashed fundraising records which paid for a prolific ad buy in a major ground game. And he still lost statewide twice. So is Allred capable of matching that effort and drumming up the necessary cash? He's going to have to be because just running as the antidote for Cruz fatigue won't get him there. Not in a state where even Ken Paxton won by double digits just 7 months ago.
Texas is a red state. Beto O'Rourke, as you mentioned, was the closest to do it against Ted Cruz, but he still was not able to win. This question's for you both. Mark first. What changes in 2024 from Beto O'Rourke getting very close against Ted Cruz in the past?
Well, I think it's actually going to be harder for Allred. Beto was able to sneak up on Cruz from behind because effectively Republicans were asleep at the switch and weren't ready for the Democratic challenge they faced back in 2018. You also had an advantage for Democrats in that they could campaign and mobilize against an unpopular Donald Trump in the White House, but he wasn't on the ballot providing mobilization from the other side. That said, Allred is the high-quality, top-tier candidate that Democrats need if they're ever going to break their statewide losing streak, which dates back to 1996. They haven't won a statewide race since 1994. So you need someone with Allred's caliber and ability to be running, because if Democrats don't get that, then they have no hope of defeating Cruz. Right now, they do at least have the race, if Allred's the candidate, among the top 2 Democratic targets against Republican seats. That's against Cruz here in Texas and Senator Rick Scott in Florida.
Greg Green got the last word.
Look, I'm not sure anything changes. The challenges for Democrats remain the same. Getting progressive-leaning Latinos to reflect their actual numbers at the polls and convincing Texas independent voters that Joe Biden's policies are better for them than those projected by Ted Cruz and company. Over the next 16 months, I just don't see either happening in an election-altering way. I was interested in Allred talking about, in a positive way, Senator Cornyn. I think that's an attempt to go after independents.
All right, really quick, yes or no answer. Mark, do you think Colin Allred can win the Democratic nomination?
I think he can win the Democratic nomination. He may have a challenge from Roland Gutierrez, but I think he would be the strong favorite to win it.
Greg, quick answer.
Look, I think Colin Allred is a very attractive, articulate candidate. He's just got to get his name out there. Can he beat Cruz? I think that's a real long shot.
All right, that's all the time we have. To see this interview or any of our past interviews, go to our station's YouTube channels and keep the conversation going with us by interacting with us on our social media sites.
The Fox Texas Trio is off next week for a little summer vacation, but we will be back in business July 9th to discuss another contentious topic. In the meantime, be sure to let us know what you think the issue is.